You want to talk about the fight?
Yes.
Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the latest channel Super Fun, we will be talking about the result of the epic battle between me and Dennis. For context, again, like it's so tedious seeing my words and actions taken in the worst possible light. So for context, no, I did not require Dennis to fight me so that I could like prove my manhood or something. I don't
Be a
know.
lot more interesting if you did.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Dennis challenged me to a fight. And what he told me was that he was sick of hearing me complain about my scratched floor. So if he won, I could never talk about it again. And obviously, this was for content. He thought it was a really good video concept. I agreed, so we greenlit it. And the challenge was that Dennis was going to be allowed some amount of time to train.
It was not a lot of time. It was not like a normal amount of time for a fight.
Yeah, like I think it was like a couple weeks or something like that.
Yeah, like actually 2.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Well, he had more time than that. He could have trained, but he wasn't filming.
A lot of fights are
so.
like months out.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember being like blown away because I didn't realize how demanding it is when I found out that like top fighters would fight like once a year.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Oh,
yeah. Well, and they train specifically for that fight. Sometimes they're moving weight classes. Like there's a lot of things involved with it.
However, I will say this: Dennis trained a lot more than me, which was 0. I help out in my girls' class.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to ask about that because we had talked and you said that you didn't train anymore.
No.
And then when I watched the video, there was footage of you there.
Yeah.
But like you looked a little rigid and like you weren't really training. So I was wondering, like, were you doing a demonstration?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was. I'm there to be like a black belt helper in the class.
That's
and
cool.
like I go around and
That's
help correct form and stuff like that. Like I don't remember any of my patterns or anything like that. So I'm like,
but you can see when something's like obviously wrong.
Yeah, and like if the master is like, yeah, can you help them with this? I'm like, okay, how's that go again? Yeah, no problem, got it.
Right.
Like I can immediately pick things up again because it's all stuff I've done before. It's just been 20 years, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. I'm not actually like training or anything like that. So the challenge was Dennis would get a couple of weeks to train and I would be going in cold.
Yeah.
Hold on, you're making that face, but Dennis has as much martial arts training as I do.
No, I made that face.
He has a black belt
because I was reminded of the fact that he's doing. So this was a specifically Taekwondo fight.
Yes.
And he went to a Krav Maga.
Well, I don't know. Look, he didn't ask me for advice on how he should train.
So like, yeah, he spent 2 weeks training. He also did some weird stuff in that. Like, I mean, Krav Maga is super cool, but like,
so
what?
Okay,
not for this.
I think there are other ways he could have done it, but I do understand why he did it. Why he did Krav Maga.
Why?
Okay, the reason he did that is because Dennis's biggest problem is that all you have to do is move fast near him.
The fear thing.
And he like,
yeah.
He flinches, right?
Yeah.
He's a flinchy boy. And so you actually saw that in the beginning of the video when I was laughing at him because I've been teasing him off camera as well. I'm like, dude, you don't have a chance because all I have to do is go like this.
Oh yeah, you did that. Yeah.
And it worked, right?
And he was like, you can't do that. Yeah.
He was trying not to flinch because I'd already been doing that to him for like a week. Like every time I saw him, I'd be like, "Yeah, Dennis."
That actually makes a lot more sense.
Yes,
because I haven't watched the whole video yet, but the Krav Maga guy is like, okay, we got to do this because you need to like drop your nerves and like be able to be more calm and stuff.
Exactly.
So that was the whole goal. Okay.
Exactly. So he was trying to be less twitchy.
Yeah.
And less like freak outy whenever something.
Which I will say, at the fight, maybe that actually really worked because he didn't do that like at all, really. He did some moves that were very derpy, like keeping his arms down like this and other stuff like that.
Okay, so we should talk about the fight.
Yeah.
Man, see, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Oh yeah, I lost because I didn't train. Yeah. I didn't lose.
Yeah, have you watched the video?
Why do you even watch this show? Like, if you're actually just if you're gonna take everything I do and say in the worst possible way, you must hate me, right? Because everything I do is awful.
Okay, stop reading chat.
Yeah,
Talk
so
about
let's talk. So let's talk about the fight. First of all, I want to say massive respect to Dennis.
Yeah.
He did way better than I expected.
Oh,
Dan,
yeah.
Dan, did you watch it? Have you watched the video already?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it?
No.
You should watch it.
It's really good.
Yeah,
So A, Dennis put up a way, way better fight than I expected. And B, it's a really good video.
Yeah.
The training and the behind the scenes. You guys, I'm not gonna spoil everything, but Dennis put some serious thought and energy into both giving himself his best chance possible and sabotaging me in the most underhanded ways possible.
So funny.
I heard about that.
Without me realizing
So funny.
at all. However, I wasn't super thrilled with how the rules of the fight,
Oh, not at all.
the format of the fight
I hated it.
played out.
Yeah. That's a problem.
I would say that a lot of people were confused about the scoring. So, for one thing, I will say that the scoring was not actually as abhorrent as it appeared to be in the video. It's the way that it works, and Dennis only flashed up like the scoring system for a second before taking it away, which I guess kind of makes sense in keeping the video's pacing moving quickly, but might not make sense in terms of people understanding what they're watching. The way the scoring worked was that a strike to the body, to the front or the side, I think is 1 point with the hands. A strike to the body, front or side with the legs is 2 points. A takedown, so getting the other opponent's shoulders on the ground, that's 2 points. And then I think it was a kick to the head is either 3 or 4. And then a spinning kick to the head is like 5 or something.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. And the reason for that is not because a spinning kick to the head is actually practical in a real world fight or flight, I choose fight scenario, but because it is slow. And so it demonstrates a clear reading of where your opponent will be and a quickness in your execution that is desirable in this particular form of sparring. We weren't fighting, we were sparring. So it's a points-based system.
Yeah, and a lot of it's like showing off technical ability and stuff more than being able to strike very hard or
Yes.
like knock your opponent out or anything.
We
like
also played more like training or like kid or teenager rules in that we didn't allow like Taekwondo mixed martial arts allows takedowns and allows strikes to the face, but we played with takedowns but without strikes to the face.
Yeah, side and top of head were allowed, I believe.
You can kick to the head, but you were not allowed to strike with your hands to the head at all.
Okay.
Okay, so what happened? There were some definite like referee, I wish the call had gone a different way moments. There's this part where I clearly catch his leg and throw him on the ground, and he gets 2 points
For the kick.
for the kick that never actually hit me. That was a little frustrating. I also, okay, Dennis, this is going to be a controversial take. I don't think he deserved the points he got for that head kick. That was not a kick. Even in the footage, it looks like he like moved my head with his leg. But if you go back and watch slowly, I'm actually moving and his leg grazes my head.
I was going to say, because in person, it seemed less legit than when I watched it in video. And in video, because the camera's on the other side of the room, it seemed more legit.
I think Dennis, being the editor of the video, might have picked the most favorable angle for that kick to the head. However, that wasn't the biggest problem. Actually, you know what? I'm talking about it a lot. What did you think?
Sorry, 1 second. I have to send this message.
Oh.
I'm asking about a technical thing. I was a little annoyed by a few things. Just in how it was. The fight was very fun to watch.
Yeah.
The event was very entertaining to be at.
I had fun.
The video was very fun to watch. Something that is mentioned in the video like multiple times, but was like painful in person. Like it was definitely covered in the video. It was covered enough. It didn't need to be covered more. But the breaks between rounds were actually crazy. Like the breaks between rounds were longer than the rounds were. And I know Linus actually defends Dennis on this because Linus is like, I was tired too. But like, none of this made it into the video, but I guarantee there's footage of me just like yelling at Dennis to start fighting, and I'm on Dennis's side. And there's one part when the ref starts counting for him to like get up, because or he'd be DQ'd if he got to, I think it was like 10, which is a long time to count for. But he should have started that counting way earlier, because he'd let him sit there for like maybe it was less than this. It felt like 30 seconds.
Like on the ground.
Yeah.
Like not like standing, like sitting on the ground.
Yeah. And like this is not necessarily, I might have said it wrong. This is not time between rounds. This was after a stoppage during a round where they're just resetting to go again because like someone went out of the circle or a point was scored or whatever. So Dennis's cardio is even worse than it shows in the video by a lot.
A lot.
Like you didn't see a huge portion of the stoppages where we're all just standing there waiting for Dennis. And then he comes out of those stoppages just flying all over the place, tons of energy. I had forgotten about this. After he scored some point, he does a cartwheel. Like he's totally into it. And then there's a stoppage and he's like, nope.
Yeah,
100%.
pretty much.
Which, I mean, with the amount of cardio that he has and how tired that he was, the ability to pull it together and push through the tiredness and do some of the stuff that he did, good. One of the other things, though, is that as he got tired, and this happens, as you get tired, your hands start to kind of droop. And any of your trainers are going to yell at you for them to come back up. But he didn't exactly have a corner man. So his hands are drooping, hands are drooping, hands are drooping, hands are drooping.
And
by the end of the fight,
my biggest problem.
Yeah.
Is that a combination of Dennis's tiredness and the format of the fight led to Dennis basically fighting like this.
Which, again, you can really only score points
here, here, and here.
Yeah.
Back doesn't count, right? So if he's standing like this, and the rules are that you have to get a clean hit, I pretty much had nothing to strike at.
The only place is middle.
So he said, what did he say? Coward move or something like that? Because I kept going for leg grabs and takedowns.
He was like, yeah, leg pulls are a coward move or something like that.
Something like that.
Which is weird because you're volunteering to receive a strike. But whatever.
And he was standing like this with his arms in front of his body, when what I wanted to do was just punch him in the face then, because his hands are down.
Which is what a lot of people's reaction is going to be, but that
chicken move. He called it a chicken move.
Chicken move? Okay, yeah. But that would be against the rules because you're not allowed to strike to the face.
So both of us, just like the adrenaline was flowing and got demerits, actually. We lost points for striking the other one in the face at some point or another. With our hands, but I think that I could have maintained my guard a fair bit better, and so Dennis actually already challenged me to a rematch, and
it needs to be way further out.
I have accepted. 100%.
Yeah,
100%. I would like some time to train a little bit. I think that my cardio could be better. I was tired. I was tired too. I didn't want to show it because the last thing you want to do is show your opponent you're tired. But I was tired and I was in a lot of pain.
The knee, yeah.
Yeah, I sustained a knee injury during the fight that was... it's not Dennis's fault. He didn't do anything illegal or anything like that, but I grabbed his leg, lifted his whole body.
Weird, like, hopping, jumping kick thing. It was really odd.
Yeah.
And then you happened to grab and pull, and you kind of pulled, because he was, like, off the ground when you pulled, which was weird. He kind of flew at you and then landed on your knee.
Yeah, so I was really tired and I was in a lot of pain. I want to get my knee like real good. I want to get my cardio better and I want to get my flexibility better. I was having a really hard time kicking high. He edited this out of the video, but I was really tired that day and I was really sore. I had played badminton the night before.
You should probably not do that next time.
2 hours.
Yeah.
And I had trained either the day before that or 2 days before that, and I hadn't fully recovered when I played badminton that night. So I was walking into the place, and I didn't show it. I didn't show it to Dennis. So I recorded all of this other like camera operators, so he would only see it when he was editing the footage. But I was like not sure if I was going to be able to kick at head level when I was going into it.
I think there should be rule changes if you guys fight again.
So that's the thing. I want
Okay.
some more time to work on my flexibility, and here are the conditions of my rematch. I want 3-minute rounds.
Yeah,
We only did 1-minute rounds, which is like
3 1-minute rounds.
the fact that he couldn't get through a 1-minute round was ridiculous.
And the first round was not 1 minute. There's no way.
oh really?
The first round was way shorter
Oh, I
than
was
the
just
next
like
two.
I was just like
It felt like the
focused.
next two might have been longer than a minute, so maybe it made up for it in the overall duration. But the first round was really short.
I want delay of match penalties
Yes,
clearly set out.
and the timer needs to start like immediately.
Yes, clearly set out. And punching to the head and face is allowed.
You're okay with a broken nose?
I mean, if it happens, it happens. He's not going to hit me.
I'm just saying.
He's not going to hit me.
do only face.
Only face.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Headshots
Yeah.
only?
Headshots only.
Headshots
Ghost knives,
only?
headshots
No.
only?
No, because then you just go like this and just
Okay, yeah.
kick.
Yeah, that's
it just
true.
becomes
So
like it's the
here's-
same problem.
here's
You
the-
have to have a reason to bring your hands down, and you have to have a reason to bring your hands up. Otherwise, there's nothing to strike at.
That's actually something I was going to mention. Maybe this gets solved with face punches being allowed. But I was going to say, if a kick gets blocked to the side by an arm that did not have to move in order to cause the block, I think it should count as points.
Oh, I see what you mean. No,
That
I
was
don't
my
think you'd be able to
solution.
do that because you can keep your like you can feel that they're probably not going for a high strike, and you can keep your hands low. Like that's totally legit.
But you'd still move it. Like some of the blocks, he literally does nothing.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. A lot
Like
of
it should be intentional. And even if your arm is already low, there's going to be an intentional thing to try to block a kick. And there's just nothing. It just didn't count. I don't know.
Trevor W in Float Plane says, "I think I'm behind, but holy, those were only 1-minute rounds."
Yeah. Like it was ridiculous to watch. The time not between rounds, but during the round, the time during the stoppages was
Yeah.
longer than the round. For I believe round 2 and 3.
Yeah, probably.
Like it was
Okay, I'd be willing to be flexible. If he wants to do 2-minute rounds, I
3
could,
is like pretty long considering his cardio.
considering we're making a video too. Like we've got to show everything, but also edit it. You know, like it's gonna end up pretty long.
Would you guys be willing to stream it and set a date?
Maybe.
stuff?
Yeah, I'd be down.
Because like it should be I think it should be an event.
I would also be open to, instead of like doing face strikes, we could do side of the head and top of the head or something like that.
But you should be able to punch
But
somewhere.
you
there.
must be able to get a point on the upper body with your hands, because otherwise, think about it. What on earth can you do against someone who just comes at you like this and is just like, kick, 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 kick? Like there's nothing to do other than grab their leg and throw them on the ground.
Yeah. Which is what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I played the game the way it had to be played, but that was not the way I wanted to play it. I wanted to.
In Dennis's defense, with the list of rules that existed, he played the game the way he should have done,
He did.
and he did really well,
He did.
all things considered. No, I expected him to have about that level of cardio. I did not expect him to be as proficient as he was.
Yeah, especially looking at. I watched on. There's a Float Plane exclusive with some of his earlier fight training.
Like he clearly had a lot of improvement over
Yeah,
a relatively short period
That'll
of time.
happen
because
if
he's
you have
remembering.
training and you're
Yeah.
remembering and
Yeah.
you're exactly.
What just happened? I did not expect him. Why did
Uh,
this start doing that? I
I
got
don't
it.
know.
That's weird. But yeah, I was very impressed with Dennis, to be completely honest. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, he did well. So that's my conditions. That's my conditions for the rematch.
Someone said LTX. You gonna do it at LTX?
You know, Dennis actually suggested LTX, and I said no because I thought there was just LTX is so busy. There's
Too
so
much
much
other
going
stuff
on.
going
Yeah.
on.
And the last thing I want is, okay, so let's say my nose does get broken,
It would have to be the end.
or I aggravate my knee injury again.
Would have
Yeah,
to be the
but
end.
we're both going to be exhausted from doing LTX, especially me.
That's true. That's true.
So like,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it, but also,
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. Something that someone else mentioned. Why? Okay, by below the belt, I don't mean crotch, but why is there nothing below the belt? Leg strikes are a
well,
thing.
yeah, it's a thing, but it's also a thing that is very likely to cause injury.
Okay.
I mean, I get it. The martial art that I trained did allow leg sweeps,
Okay.
but only like a spinning leg sweep. So it was kind of like how you get a lot of points for a spinning head kick. It's slow.
It's slow and hard to pull off.
And it makes you extremely vulnerable, because if you go down, if you go down like this to put your leg out, you're exposing the top of your head. And we also allowed so in the training that I had, in the sport that I did, our sparring allowed a back fist to the top of the head. That was the way to make the head count for something.
You
but
could do something like that too. Like, it doesn't.
Yes.
The head points that we're trying to get is not because we want them to like
get hurt,
just destroy each other's skulls. You just need to be able to score points there. So if the whole thing was back of fist instead of like direct contact, that would be good. Like, it just, yeah.
I just had so many opportunities to punch him, so I was like,
there needs to be some,
I just wanted to.
There needs to be some way to make you think about where your arms are and incentivize needing to hold your arms up.
Yeah, that, like Land's M asked, was the fight with Dennis cathartic? I think that's a great.
That is a good question.
That's a good question.
It was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
It looked like, other than
Yeah.
the knee injury, that you guys were like into it and enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I actually I had a blast. Like, I haven't done this in 20 years. Like, I would do like little tiny tournaments and stuff. Like, when I was a teenager, right? Like, kid level tournaments. But I haven't sparred since then. So yeah, it was fun. I don't know.
Someone mentioned Luke and Linus versus everyone else. Do you have any idea how many people work here now?
Yeah.
It'd be an army. They could just dogpile on top of us, and we
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to move.
Yeah. And some of them are like quite large and proficient.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah, that would be probably not even that entertaining to watch.